Good morning, everybody. Oh, sorry, good afternoon. Just hit the afternoon. Hope you're all well. Absolutely peeing it down over here in the Netherlands. I understand that's pretty much the same for the rest of Europe. But anyway, enough about the weather. Typically English thing. Let's get on with the football. So, welcome to RVTV. If you haven't watched us before, please give us a like, subscribe, and hit the little bell thingy so you can let us know, so it can let you know when we're on. So down to a little matter of qualifying for the next round in the Champions League on Tuesday night in a extremely friendly atmosphere in the south of France. Those Marseille boys sure know how to welcome the away fans, as I'm sure some of you can confirm. So, Marseille versus Spurs. We'll have a look at the lineup. Loris, Lenglet, Dyer, Davis, Sessegnon at right back. Perisic, Højbjerg, Bentancur, Son, Harry, and Mora. Going on to the first half. I think the atmosphere got to us. We really didn't play well. It was, one of our less better starts this season. Marseille, I wouldn't say they came out of the blocks explosively, but we just didn't seem to be at the races. Now, I've heard something from Antonio Conte saying that because of the 3 matches a week during the first half, we try and play more conservative to conserve energy. The passing, it seemed that we were passing the ball to them every single chance that we got. We were on the back foot from early on. One of the players I'm going to have to call out here is Ryan Sessegnon. But I can also say, why is the manager playing him at right back? I can't recall that he's ever played at right back before, and he really did have a shocker, poor fella. So, yeah. They had a couple of good chances relatively early on, didn't make much of it. Then there was a Son injury. He jumped up for the ball with Mbemba, and his eye connected with his shoulder. Looking at it afterwards, that was a nasty shiner, and it turns out that he's got a fractured eye socket, and he needs to go in for surgery. So I don't think he'll be playing today. I know that some players have played with that injury before with a mask. Yeah, he's got to play the World Cup soon. Give him a rest. I know it's a big game for us, but the World Cup is a big thing for Sonny. He's very, I wouldn't say nationalistic, but he's very proud of his country, and he obviously wants to represent his country in whatever the name of that Qatar or whatever it is, the one of the worst countries for human rights abuses in the world. Anyway, moving swiftly on. The only one really for me to come out with any compliments, any respect in the first half was Hugo Lloris. He made an absolutely brilliant save from Vetu, and there wasn't really much to write home about in the first half. They pressed us, we defended deep, we didn't, as I said, the passing was absolutely atrocious, and the inevitable happened. I think in the 46th minute or something like that, corner came over, and a great header from Mbemba, their defender. What I don't understand is, again, Ryan, I'm picking you out here. You gave away a needless corner, which then led to Basuma knocking it out for a second corner, and that's when it came over for Mbemba to score. So the first half was pretty shocking, to be honest. Big up Simon Says. Bad first half seems to be one of the few consistent things about us this season. Very, very true. I'm not, as I said earlier, the whole thing with conserving energy. I don't know if that's true, but 3 games a week, it's difficult to keep up the momentum. Corrupt are. Yeah, very, 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 very true. Mr. Daigle, how are you? Are you all packed, ready for Wednesday? Very much looking forward to meeting you in February. We should have a right royal. I was going to say piss up, but obviously no. We'll have a right royal knees up. Yeah, when I see you there. Okay, so on to the second half. Slightly better, I thought. Royal, excuse me, Royal came on for Sessegnon, made us a bit more solid. It looked like we went to a back 4 at one point early in the first half, and that made us look a little bit more exciting. Equaliser came in the 54th minute. Absolutely lovely ball from Perisic, and Longley beat Rojnier with a great header down into the bottom corner. Langley seems to have split the fan base a little bit. I think some people were thinking, oh, he's come from Barcelona, but he hasn't played any games. This bloke's not good enough. If you saw him before, the season before, when he was playing for Sevilla, he was their best player by a mile. He is a great player. You go to a place like Barcelona, it's never going to be easy to hit the ground running. I think he had some injuries. He is a very good player, and I think we're lucky to have him on loan. His confidence needs to be boosted, and I think it has. He hasn't started over Davis. As everybody knows, my Davo is one of my favourite players just because of the 120% effort every single game that he puts in. But he is a limited footballer. Longley has the passing range, obviously the height for the heading. I think if we sign him permanently, I think he'll be a very solid member of the back 3 for whatever, for a fair amount of time to come. Simon says I genuinely can't see any reason to play Says anymore. I would have to disagree with that, Simon. He has not been great he's had a few injuries over the last, since he joined. And again, I think he has a severe lack of confidence. He's spoken about going to a psychiatrist because he's had some mental problems. There's still definitely a player in there. I'm not ready to give up on him just yet. I think if he can get the confidence, if he can get the starts, if he can cut out the mistakes, he will be a great player for us. Mr. Daigle packing tomorrow, ready for Tuesday night's flight. Well, enjoy. I hope you're flying with a decent airline. My wife has just flown with Finnair to India, and she definitely wouldn't recommend it, let's just say. So, Højbjerg showed his intention in the 81st minute. Another great run from Rodney, as I like to call him, Rodrigo Bentancur. He's definitely not a plonker. Into the box, knocks it back to Mora. Mora lays it onto Højbjerg. Bang! Straight against the crossbar. Any other day that would have gone in. That was rather unlucky. But we were definitely on the ascendancy there. Simon says he's a poor man's Winks. Yeah. From what I've heard, Mr. Winks is very vocal in the dressing room when he was dropped and tried to cause a lot of trouble with Maureen. I don't respect that from a player. Sessegnon gets his head down. He tries. He might not be, yeah, he doesn't have enough confidence. He definitely has the skill. He definitely has the pace. I think he can be a great player. But yeah, opinions are like arseholes. I'm allowed to swear now. Yeah. Everybody's got one. Not that I'm calling you an arsehole, Simon. I think you're a lovely bloke. But I don't agree with that one. Brian, Air Transat, and they are superb. I have to say, I've never heard of them. Well, as long as they're good. How long is the flight? It's about 7-8 hours. I hope you enjoy it, mate. And I hope that I understand that you're going back for some personal reasons. So I hope that everything's okay. And big up to the whole Daigle family. All right. To be honest, Marseille probably should have won it in the 81st minute when what's his name? The bug-eyed guy. Ozil's saviour in that robbery in North London, Seed Kolasinac, was free at the back post. You would have put your house on him to score that, and he knocked it wide. Sorry. These ex-gooners, they made me laugh. Then came Emile, as I like to call him. His moment in the 95th minute. Guendouzi, another one of those ex-gooners, tried to play the ball through. My man Davo was there for the interception, knocked it to Kane. Kane played an absolutely lovely ball into Emile, who ran on. I thought he'd gone a little bit too far, and I thought the defender was going to get to him, and then he knocked it in off the post. Now, that is a finish of the highest quality. Again, Højbjerg has split the Spurs support. Some call him a plodder. A definition of plodder is someone who wanders around without purpose. That guy runs around with like a headless chicken, not a headless chicken, runs around with purpose for most of the game. He's up front, he's back defending. The guy's got passion, the guy's got heart, the guy gets injured, he carries on playing. He is what I would hope most of our team would be like. He wants to win so much that he'll play through the pain barrier. Absolutely brilliant finish. And me being his number one fan, yeah, that's probably not true, but a big fan of his, obviously him being a Dane. I was very, very happy for him to score that winner. Overall, the passing, as I mentioned earlier, was just terrible. It was like a practice match. Well, not a practice match, but it was like there were two sets of players passing the ball to one another, but they're on the opposite side. I've noticed that that's been really quite bad since Conte's come in. I don't know if he concentrates on that in training. I think that the players are rather frightened of him, and they're frightened to make mistakes, and so these wayward passes happen. Just my opinion, probably not true. Anyway, didn't it feel bloody great to put one over those ostriches? Their faces then they sat on the pitch of the final whistle. Can't buy that. Yep, absolutely. I love that, especially that Guendouzi. He's such a mouthy git, and Sanchez as well. Not so much. He was a quality player. Most of the time he did his talking on the pitch. But in the paper, apparently before the match, he said he was going to knock him out for his old team, and he's definitely a shadow of the player that used to play for Arsenal. As soon as he left Arsenal, he went downhill. I think it was just, I made it. Look at these wages I'm getting from Man United. He did absolutely nothing for Man United. Now he's, I wouldn't say in a football backwater, but Marseille are not exactly a powerhouse, are they? And he looks a little bit lively, but he's a shadow of himself. And I think he should keep his mouth shut and stay in that dirty backwater that is Marseille. Again, Simon, totally agree about Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, an absolute workhorse. I wouldn't say he's a workhorse. He's still very skillful, and you wouldn't find someone like Stefan Freund who would be able to do that run and then knock that ball in. He would have put it. Didier Zakora, they would have put it into row Z. He's a very skillful player, but he doesn't half run, and he's absolutely quality, I think. Right, so moving swiftly on. On to today's match. This is one which has never been one of my favourite fixtures. As a schoolboy growing up in Buckinghamshire, Liverpool were the most popular or the most successful team at the time. So most of my classmates, apart from the legend that is Johnny Einstein, big up Johnny, were Liverpool fans. And as I got older, it seemed like the whole of Buckinghamshire was taken over by these, Mickeys. What can you say? That's what I call them. So they, outside of London, they are probably my least favourite team. Not so much because of the players, but because of the fans, especially because of the Southern fans. All of the ones who actually live in Liverpool, the ones that I've met, they've been quite nice. But the Southern fans just can't accept. They couldn't accept when they dropped off the radar for a few years, when we beat them for a few years. It's still Liverpool are the greatest team in the world. Yeah, no, come on, you're not. And then you've had your resurgence recently, and fair play. The referee was brilliant to you in the Champions League final against us. We didn't show up. You didn't really show up either. If we showed up, I think we would have beaten you. The Sissoko penalty is still something that grinds my gears massively. But let's move on to today. The predicted lineup for us, a little bit not as strong as we would like it to be. We've got Loris, Dyer, Lenglet, Davis, Royale, Perisic. I think we'll go with the 3-5-2. Basuma, Højbjerg, Skip, Mora, and Harry. Subs, Forster, Tanganga, Doherty, Spence, Sessegnon, Bentancur, Sarr, Kulu, and Gil. The reason that I put Bentancur on the bench is because I think he was feeling his hamstring a little bit midweek. I don't think he'll start today. And Skippy looked lively when he came on. I love his passion for the team and his harrying. He's like Højbjerg, and I think in a few years he'll be better than Højbjerg. And that's quite a big thing for me to say, being such a big Højbjerg fan. Kulu, I don't think he'll start him, as he won't be 100% fit. We'll probably see a cameo in the second half, depending how it goes. So, yeah, that's us. Opposition foreman, their managers, marvellous gnashers. I've never been so jealous of anyone's teeth since Brendan Rodgers. That guy's a complete teacup. He has wound me up ever since he got into this league, and he still is. Especially now they're losing. He's just such... It's understandable that you're a bad loser, but some of the things he comes out with, he acts like a petulant child. It just... he is like Kevin the teenager, I think. And I absolutely can't stand that bloke. From Simon, for the love of God, let's get Spence on. I'd love to see that. Doesn't seem that Conte fancies him. When I saw him for that 1 minute, a couple of minutes cameo against, I think it was in the Champions League, he looked really lively, but he was playing him as a right forward. As a right back, I think that he doesn't defend enough, or as a right wing back, he doesn't defend enough for Conte's wishes. And yeah, so that's going to, unless he does something really special, I have a feeling we'll see him go out on loan in January. I'm not sure that we'll really see him. given a chance in a Spurs shirt while Conte is here, which I think is a crying shame because I think the bloke's got loads of talent and he's a little bit raw, but what young player isn't? We should definitely play him against Forest on Wednesday, which hopefully we'll be doing a watch along. If you fancy that, Simon, that'd be great. If you want to join the stream as well, the link is in the comments. If you want to have a chat, that'd be lovely. So Liverpool haven't been great recently. They've also got a lot of injuries. So obviously no one gives us any credit when we have a load of injuries and we don't play well, but Liverpool will get all of the compassion in the press. But when you're missing Jota, Matip, Diaz and Keita, that's quite a big chunk of your team. They've also got Arthur and Milner out. Milner's probably coming to the end of his sell-by date, but still someone who'll give everything when he plays. Arthur, is he the guy from Atletico Madrid? I don't think he's really done anything since he's been there, has he? But you still have to look at their front three. Nunez, Firmino and Salah. Salah still looks absolutely brilliant. Firmino has not been great this season. And Nunez, I think, is still trying to adapt to the Premier League game. He does look quality though. The midfield, okay. The defence still got Robertson and Trent Alexander. Van Dijk, again, I think he's coming a little bit to the end of his sell-by date, but still a quality player. And then Konate, who I don't really know an awful lot about. He'll probably have an absolute worldie today. I think they'll attack, so that will play into our hands massively because we like to soak up pressure and hit them on the counter-attack. We're not so good at breaking down teams who sit back. So I think it's going to be an exciting game. We don't have a great record against them. I can remember when we beat them, was it 2-0 back in the early 2000s at Anfield with a Modric goal. And then we beat them at White Hart Lane. I think it was 5-1. And then we beat them at Wembley 4-0 or something like that. So they haven't had it all their way. But recent times, it hasn't been very good. I think the prediction for that is going to be, I'm going for a 1-1. Kane with our goals, Salah with theirs. It'll be exciting end to end, but I think the defences are probably, when we've got Moura and Kane up front, no disrespect to Lucas Moura, but he does tend to run into a lot of blind alleys. And he's very hit and miss. I think he was always an impact sub for me. Never forget that night in Amsterdam. He will go down as a Spurs legend, and I will always love that guy. I think he's coming to the end of his tenure with us. So to have him up front doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. The 3-5-2 should be able to nullify him. But yeah, I'm going for a draw. Some comments here from Simon. Yeah, we'd love to join, but getting ready to go out. Enjoy, mate. I hope you're going to see one of those many bands that you post up on Facebook. Looks like a great laugh up there. It'll be great to see you Wednesday. I'll send you the link on Facebook. And I'm not really sure how I'm going to work it out because I haven't quite found out how I'm going to get a link in the Netherlands because they never really show the League Cup. But due to the fact that Mrs. is away for a week, I'm in the house on my own as the little one's staying with her grandma midweek. So I thought doing a watch along or at least doing a show would be a great laugh. So enjoy your Sunday, Simon. Thank you very much for coming on. Please give us a like and give us a comment as well. Anything you think that we should improve apart from my obviously wonderful haircut. And take it easy, bruv. So, one of my favourite days of the year, the FA Cup first round. I can always remember as a child watching the FA Cup highlights, or well, not the highlights, the live games on the BBC, and I absolutely loved it. All these names that you'd never really heard of, those obscure names, and then you'd see the big boys who dropped down the league and then were scrapping it out with these non-league guys. I'd just like to give a special mention to these two teams, especially Alvechurch. They're 96 places beneath Cheltenham. Sorry about that, Chris. One of my acquaintances supports Cheltenham, lives in Stroud, I think. And Cheltenham seemed to be doing very well a few seasons ago. Not so sure how well they're doing this time. But a bloke called Danny Waldron with an absolutely quality double. Cheltenham pulled one back and battered Alvechurch for the second half, but just couldn't find a way through. So Alvechurch go into the second round, and I really hope that they get into the third round and then get one of the big boys, because that would be absolutely brilliant for a team who I can't even remember what league they play in, but it's below the National League, South Central, etc., etc. It is serious non-league football. And then Chippenham beat Lincoln City again. Alex, one of my acquaintances from university. Sorry about that, mate. I know you're one of their fans. They're from the National League South. And the goal that they won it with from a guy called Joe Hanks was absolutely brilliant. Ball played into the middle and he backheeled it into the net. Now, if that ain't a player's dream when you're playing in non-league to score against a league side in the FA Cup with a back heel, I don't know what it is. So there's more first round games today. I haven't checked to see if there's anything on the BBC, but I'm looking forward to that. I love this weekend. It is one of the highlights of the football season for me. So, as no one fancies coming on, I think I'm going to shut it down for now. But I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for watching, or if you're watching it on playback. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell thing so you can be informed when we're next on. The next show will be a Wednesday against Forest in the Milk Cup, as I like to call it. League Cup for other people, Carabao Cup for the modern hipsters who've just got into football. And have a wonderful Sunday. And here's hoping that we get 3 points, although I think we'll get a draw. Come on, you Spurs. Can't smile without you.